Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Bertolt Brecht, a seismic figure in 20th century theater, possessed an arsenal of artistic weaponry, and one of his most disarming tactics was the strategic deployment of song. These were songs designed to do more than simply embellish a scene. They were calculated disruptions, jarring interruptions intended to snap audiences out of their comfortable, passive consumption of drama. Imagine, if you will, a deeply moving scene unfolding, emotions swelling, and then, suddenly, a character bursts into a song, a cynical ballad commenting on the very action in which they are participating, forcing a reappraisal of the narrative's trajectory and challenging the audience's emotional investment. This was the initial spark of Brecht's theatrical revolution, a deliberate assault on the conventions of bourgeois theater, and a call for a new kind of engagement between stage and spectator. Brecht's early life provided fertile ground for his iconoclastic artistic development. Born in Augsburg, Germany, in 1898, he witnessed firsthand the social inequalities and political turmoil that characterized the early 20th century. His early plays, such as Baal, written in 1918, already showcased a rejection of traditional dramatic structures and a fascination with unconventional characters. Baal, the eponymous anti-hero, is a force of nature, a poet and a sensualist who defies societal norms and embraces a life of hedonistic abandon. The play itself abandons traditional plot development in favor of a series of loosely connected scenes, each highlighting Baal's rejection of bourgeois values. It presents a stark contrast to the well-made plays of the time, which typically featured clear narratives, moral lessons, and sympathetic characters. Brecht's intention was to create a theater that challenged the audience, forcing them to confront uncomfortable truths about society and human nature. This rejection of traditional dramatic conventions was further solidified in the Threepenny opera a collaboration with composer Kurt Weill that premiered in 1928. This work, a biting satire of capitalist society, transplanted John Gay's The Beggars' Opera to a Weimar Republic setting, populated by gangsters, beggars, and corrupt officials. Its famous songs, such as Mac the Knife, are not merely catchy tunes. They are pointed commentaries on the moral bankruptcy of the ruling class and the exploitation inherent in the capitalist system. The songs interrupt the narrative flow, preventing the audience from becoming too emotionally invested in the characters and forcing them to consider the social and economic forces that shape their lives. The play's success was immediate and widespread, yet its subversive message ensured that it remained a source of controversy and debate. At the heart of Brecht's early theatrical experiments lay a profound dissatisfaction with the Aristotelian model of drama, which had dominated Western theater for centuries. Aristotle, in his Poetics argued that the purpose of tragedy was to evoke pity and fear in the audience, leading to a catharsis, a purging of emotions that left them feeling cleansed and renewed. Brecht saw this as a form of manipulation, arguing that it encouraged passive acceptance of the status quo. He believed that by becoming emotionally invested in the characters and their fates, the audience was less likely to critically examine the social and political issues presented on stage. He sought to create a theater that would actively engage the audience's intellect, prompting them to question, analyze, and ultimately take action to change the world around them. Brecht's solution to this perceived problem was the development of the Verfremdungseffekt, often translated as the alienation effect or distancing effect. This technique, central to his concept of epic theater, aimed to disrupt the audience's emotional immersion in the play, preventing them from identifying too closely with the characters or accepting the events on stage as natural or inevitable. The goal was to create a sense of detachment, allowing the audience to observe the action critically and to analyze the social and political forces at play. It was a deliberate strategy to stimulate critical consciousness. The Verfremdungseffekt was not simply a theoretical concept. It was a practical tool that Brecht employed in a variety of ways. One common technique was to break the fourth wall, having actors directly address the audience, commenting on their characters or the events of the play. Another was the use of placards and projections, displaying slogans, statistics, or historical information that provided context and challenged the audience's assumptions. Songs, as demonstrated in the Threepenny opera also served to interrupt the narrative and to offer a critical perspective on the action. Even acting styles were modified, with actors encouraged to present their characters as historical figures being studied, rather than as living, breathing individuals with whom the audience could easily empathize. A significant influence on Brecht's development of epic theater was the work of Erwin Piscator, a German theater director who pioneered the use of political theater in the 1920s. Piscator's theater was explicitly designed to engage with contemporary social and political issues, using multimedia and documentary elements to create a sense of immediacy and relevance. He incorporated projections, newsreels, and statistical data into his productions, aiming to inform and educate the audience as well as to entertain them. Piscator's work demonstrated the power of theater as a tool for social change, and it profoundly influenced Brecht's thinking about the role of the artist in society. Piscator's techniques, such as the use of projections to display statistics or historical context, directly inspired Brecht's own methods of alienation. For example, in Piscator's production of *The Good Soldier Schweik*, based on the novel by Jaroslav Hasek, he used a conveyor belt to represent the relentless march of war and its dehumanizing effects. He also incorporated documentary footage of World War I, juxtaposing it with the satirical portrayal of military bureaucracy in the play. Brecht adopted and refined these techniques, using them to create a more self-conscious and analytical form of theater. He acknowledged Piscator's influence, recognizing that Piscator had paved the way for his own experiments in epic theater. The relevance of Brecht's critique of passive spectatorship extends far beyond the confines of the theater. In our increasingly media-saturated world, where we are bombarded with information and images from countless sources, the ability to critically analyze and evaluate what we see and hear is more important than ever. The digital age, with its echo chambers and filter bubbles, presents new challenges to critical thinking, as individuals are often exposed only to information that confirms their existing beliefs. Brecht's call for a theater that encourages active engagement and critical analysis remains profoundly relevant, reminding us of the importance of questioning the narratives that shape our understanding of the world. Brecht's most distinctive contribution to theatrical theory is arguably the Verfremdungseffekt, often rendered in English as the alienation effect, or sometimes the distancing effect. This concept, central to his vision of epic theater, aims to prevent the audience from becoming emotionally swept up in the narrative, instead encouraging a critical and analytical stance. The goal is to disrupt the traditional empathetic connection between spectator and character, prompting viewers to actively question the social and political implications of the events unfolding on stage. The mechanics of the VFX involve a range of techniques designed to remind the audience that they are watching a constructed performance, a deliberate artifice rather than a slice of reality. One common method is breaking the fourth wall, where actors directly address the audience, stepping outside their roles to comment on the action or offer insights. This direct address shatters the illusion of realism, forcing the audience to acknowledge their own presence in the theater and their role as active observers. Another technique involves the use of placards and projections. These visual aids often display slogans, statistics, or historical context relevant to the play's themes. Rather than seamlessly integrating into the narrative, these elements are deliberately disruptive, interrupting the flow of the story and prompting the audience to consider the broader social and political forces at play. For example, in a production of Mother Courage and Her Children, a placard might display the rising price of goods during the 30 Years' War, reminding the audience of the economic realities underpinning the conflict. Songs also play a crucial role in achieving the V-effect. In Brechtian theater, songs are not merely musical interludes. They are often used to comment on the action, offer alternative perspectives, or challenge the character's motivations. These songs frequently employ detached, ironic tone, further distancing the audience from emotional identification. The lyrics might present a cynical view of war, a critique of capitalist exploitation, or a call for social change, prompting the audience to reflect on the play's underlying message. Acting styles in Brechtian theater also differ significantly from traditional naturalistic approaches. Instead of striving to embody their characters fully, actors are encouraged to maintain a degree of detachment, presenting the character as a historical figure or a social type rather than a fully realized individual. Brecht advocated for an acting style that emphasized the actor as a narrator and commentator rather than a vessel for emotional expression. This approach requires actors to demonstrate the character's behavior rather than simply feeling it, thereby creating a critical distance between the actor, the character, and the audience. Mother Courage and Her Children provides numerous examples of the V-effect in action. In one scene, Mother Courage attempts to profit from the war by selling goods to both sides of the conflict. The staging might emphasize the artificiality of the situation, with stark lighting, minimal set design, and costumes that highlight the characters' social roles rather than their individual personalities. As Mother Courage haggles over prices, a song might interrupt the scene, commenting on the destructive nature of war and the futility of seeking profit in such a context. The song's lyrics could present a detached, cynical view of Mother Courage's actions, prompting the audience to question her motivations and the moral implications of her choices. Brecht also manipulates lighting and costume design to create a sense of artificiality and theatricality. Stage directions often call for harsh, unmodulated lighting that reveals the mechanics of the stage rather than creating a naturalistic atmosphere. Costumes are designed to be symbolic rather than realistic, highlighting the characters' social roles and economic status. For instance, Mother Courage's cart, her primary means of survival, is often presented as a dilapidated and cumbersome object, symbolizing the burden of her economic dependence on the war. Brecht's critique of Stanislavski's method acting is central to understanding his approach to acting. Stanislavski's method emphasizes emotional recall and psychological realism, encouraging actors to fully inhabit their characters' inner lives. Brecht, conversely, viewed this approach as detrimental to critical engagement, arguing that it encouraged passive identification rather than active analysis. He believed that actors should maintain a critical distance from their characters, presenting them as objects of study rather than subjects of empathy. The modern relevance of Brecht's techniques extends to contemporary theatrical practices, such as post-dramatic theater. Post-dramatic theater builds upon Brecht's innovations in alienation and audience engagement, often employing even more radical techniques to disrupt traditional theatrical conventions. These techniques can include fragmented narratives, nonlinear timelines, and direct audience participation, all designed to challenge the audience's expectations and encourage a more active and critical mode of spectatorship. The problem of empathy in politics is a key concern underlying Brecht's emphasis on the alienation effect. He believed that excessive emotional identification with political figures or social groups could hinder critical thought and lead to blind adherence to ideologies. Brecht argued that the alienation effect was necessary to create a space for rational analysis, allowing the audience to evaluate political claims and social issues objectively without being swayed by emotional appeals. Brecht's specific solution of the alienation effect was intended to encourage critical thought by disrupting the audience's emotional investment in the characters and the narrative. By preventing passive identification, Brecht aimed to foster a more active and engaged form of spectatorship, prompting the audience to question the social and political forces shaping their world. This approach remains relevant in our current political climate, where emotional appeals and partisan rhetoric often overshadow rational debate. Brecht's techniques provide a valuable framework for cultivating critical thinking and promoting a more informed and engaged citizenry. Brecht's influence can be seen in the work of later playwrights and directors who sought to create politically engaged theater. Playwrights such as Karl Churchill and Tommy Kushner have drawn upon Brechtian techniques to explore complex social and political issues, challenging audiences to confront uncomfortable truths and question their own assumptions. Directors such as Peter Brook and Joan Littlewood have also incorporated elements of Brechtian theater into their productions, using staging, lighting, and acting styles to create a more critical and analytical viewing experience. Brecht's vision of theater extended beyond mere entertainment or passive observation. He envisioned a theater actively engaged in social transformation. This concept found its most radical expression in his Lehrstücke, or learning plays. These were pedagogical experiments designed to involve participants directly in exploring ethical and social dilemmas. The Lehrstücke differ significantly from conventional dramas. They prioritize collective learning through performance, emphasizing the process of inquiry over the presentation of a fixed narrative. Plays such as the measures, taken and the exception, and the rule exemplify this approach. They serve as didactic exercises, prompting performers and audiences alike to confront difficult questions about political action and moral responsibility. The measures, taken presents a particularly challenging case. The play depicts a group of communist agitators who kill a comrade to ensure the success of their mission. The chorus, a central element of the Lehrstücke, narrates and comments on the action, guiding the audience through a process of critical reflection. Brecht employs the chorus as a specific technique to foster collective learning and political engagement. The chorus does serve as a mere narrator, but instead functions as a collective voice of reason, prompting the audience to question the characters' motivations and the consequences of their actions. The structure of the play encourages active participation. Performers take on different roles, switching between characters and chorus members, blurring the line between actor and audience. This deliberate ambiguity forces participants to engage with the material on an intellectual and emotional level, prompting them to analyze the complexities of political violence and the sacrifices demanded by revolutionary movements. The exception and the rule operates similarly, using a parable-like structure to expose the inherent contradictions and injustices of capitalist society. The play follows a merchant traveling through the desert, exploiting and mistreating his guide. The guide, despite his loyalty, is ultimately killed due to the merchant's ingrained suspicion and prejudice. Through stark and often brutal imagery, Brecht challenges the audience to examine the systemic forces that perpetuate inequality and oppression. The play avoids simplistic moralizing, instead presenting a complex and nuanced portrayal of human behavior within a deeply flawed social system. Performers are encouraged to embody different perspectives, exploring the motivations of both the oppressor and the oppressed, fostering a deeper understanding of the dynamics of power. Brecht's argument centered on theater's potential as a tool for social transformation. He believed that theater should foster critical consciousness and promote collective action. The Lehrstücke were designed to achieve this by breaking down the traditional barriers between performers and audience, encouraging active participation and critical reflection. The controversies surrounding the measures taken illustrate the challenges inherent in Brecht's approach. Some critics have accused the play of endorsing political violence and promoting a dangerous form of ideological conformity. They argue that the play's apparent justification of the comrade's murder could be interpreted as a validation of authoritarian tactics. These critiques raise important questions about the ethical responsibilities of artists and the potential for theater to be used for manipulative purposes. Brecht himself was aware of these dangers and actively sought to address them through his emphasis on critical engagement and collective decision-making. The Lehrstücke were developed through methods of collaboration and collective authorship. Brecht worked closely with actors, musicians, and other artists, encouraging them to contribute their own ideas and perspectives to the creative process. This collaborative approach reflects Brecht's belief that theater should be a collective endeavor, a shared exploration of social and political issues. One can see the influence of Erwin Piscator's political theater on the Lehrstücke. Piscator's use of documentary material, multimedia projections, and direct audience address served as a model for Brecht's own experiments in political theater. Brecht expanded upon Piscator's techniques, developing a more sophisticated and nuanced approach to engaging audiences in critical reflection. Walter Benjamin's theories on art and politics also influenced Brecht's thinking. Benjamin's concept of the aura of art and his call for a more politically engaged form of artistic production resonated deeply with Brecht's own concerns. Brecht sought to create a theater that would break down the aura of traditional art, making it more accessible and relevant to the lives of ordinary people. Brecht's Lehrstücke also influenced the work of Heinrich Müller, a German playwright known for his complex and often disturbing explorations of history and power. Müller drew upon Brecht's techniques of alienation and historical distancing to create a theater that challenged audiences to confront the darker aspects of human experience. The modern relevance of the Lehrstücke lies in their potential as models for participatory theater and social activism. In an era of increasing political polarization and social division, the Lehrstücke offer a valuable framework for promoting community engagement and addressing social issues. Theater groups around the world have adapted and reinterpreted the Lehrstücke to address contemporary concerns. These productions often involve community members in the creative process, using theater as a tool for dialogue, education, and social change. For example, community-based theater groups have used the techniques of the Lehrstücke to explore issues such as poverty, discrimination, and environmental degradation. These productions often involve marginalized communities in the creative process, giving them a platform to share their stories and advocate for social justice. The Lehrstücke techniques are employed to promote community engagement and address social issues by actively involving participants in the performance. These productions encourage critical reflection and promote a sense of collective responsibility. This approach empowers individuals to become active agents of change within their own communities. Anna Deaver Smith, an American playwright and actress known for her innovative approach to documentary theater, was influenced by Brecht's techniques. Smith conducts extensive interviews with people involved in real-life events, then performs these interviews verbatim, creating a powerful and nuanced portrayal of social issues. This approach echoes Brecht's emphasis on using theater to explore complex social and political realities. Augusto Boal, a Brazilian theater director and activist, developed a form of theater known as theater of the oppressed, which draws heavily on Brechtian principles. Boal's techniques, such as form theater and invisible theater, are designed to empower marginalized communities to challenge oppressive social structures. These techniques reflect Brecht's belief that theater should be a tool for social transformation. The Lehrstücke represent a radical experiment in political theater, challenging conventional notions of dramatic form and audience engagement. While the plays have been subject to criticism and controversy, their influence on contemporary theater and social activism is undeniable. They provide a valuable framework for promoting critical consciousness, fostering collective action, and using theater as a tool for social change. Following a period of exile, Bertolt Brecht's return to East Germany marked a new chapter in his theatrical career, one characterized by both consolidation and continued innovation. The establishment of the Berliner Ensemble in 1949 provided him with a permanent platform to develop and refine his epic theater techniques. This period saw the creation of some of his most enduring works, including the Caucasian Chalk Circle, a play that exemplifies his mature dramatic style. The Caucasian Chalk Circle builds upon the principles established in Brecht's earlier plays, such as Mother Courage and Her Children and The Good Person of Sichuan while also exploring new avenues for engaging audiences in critical reflection. The play tells two interwoven stories of dispute over land between two collective farms and the tale of Grusher, a kitchen maid who rescues a child during a time of war and raises him as her own. The play's structure, a play within a play, allows Brecht to explore themes of justice, ownership, and the nature of goodness in a complex and multifaceted way. The V-effect, or alienation effect, remains a central element of Brecht's dramatic technique in the Caucasian Chalk Circle However, Brecht's understanding of the V-effect evolved during this later period. He sought to move beyond a purely intellectual form of engagement, aiming to create a more emotionally resonant experience for the audience. He believed that emotional engagement could enhance, instead of undermining, critical reflection. This shift is evident in the play's use of music, song, and storytelling, which serve to both distance the audience from the action and draw them into the characters' experiences. The play opens with a prologue set in the Caucasus region shortly after the Second World War. Two collective farms are in dispute over a valley. One group of goat herders wants to use it for grazing, while another group of fruit growers believes it is better suited for orchards. A singer is brought in to resolve the dispute, and he does so by telling the story of Grusher and the child Michael. This framing device immediately establishes the play's epic scope and its focus on social and economic issues. The story of Grusher begins during a time of political upheaval. The governor of a city is overthrown, and his wife flees, leaving behind her infant son, Michael. Grusher, a kitchen maid, takes pity on the child and decides to rescue him, embarking on a long and perilous journey to safety. Along the way, she faces numerous challenges, including encounters with soldiers, bandits, and hostile villagers. Despite these obstacles, she remains determined to protect Michael, even at great personal cost. The play's central conflict arises when the governor's wife returns and demands that Michael be returned to her. A judge named Azdak is appointed to resolve the dispute. Azdak is a former village scribe who was appointed to the bench due to a misunderstanding. He is known for his unorthodox methods and his willingness to challenge the established order. In a climactic scene, Azdak devises a test to determine who the true mother of Michael is. He draws a chalk circle on the ground and orders both women to pull Michael out of the circle. The woman who is willing to hurt the child less is deemed the true mother. Grusher, unwilling to harm Michael, releases him, and Azdak declares her to be the true mother. Through the character of Azdak, Brecht critiques the legal system and the concept of justice. Azak's judgments are often arbitrary and unpredictable, but they consistently favor the poor and oppressed. He represents a kind of folk justice that is rooted in compassion and common sense, rather than abstract legal principles. Azak's character highlights Brecht's belief that justice should serve the needs of the people, rather than the interests of the powerful. The play's ending is ambiguous and open to interpretation. While Grusher is reunited with Michael, the play also suggests that the struggle for justice is ongoing. The singer concludes the play with a song that emphasizes the importance of using resources for the benefit of those who can make good use of them. This message resonates with Brecht's socialist ideals and his belief in the importance of collective action. Brecht's later work, including the Caucasian Chalk Circle was subject to criticism from some quarters. Some critics accused him of becoming increasingly dogmatic in his political views and of sacrificing artistic integrity for the sake of ideological purity. Others argued that his later plays were less innovative and experimental than his earlier works. These criticisms should be considered in the context of the political and cultural climate of East Germany during the Cold War. Brecht's position as a leading figure in the East German cultural establishment placed him under pressure to conform to the prevailing ideological norms. However, it is important to recognize that Brecht continued to experiment with his dramatic techniques throughout his career. He remained committed to the principles of epic theater, while also exploring new ways to engage audiences in critical reflection. His later plays, such as the Caucasian Chalk Circle demonstrate a more nuanced and sophisticated understanding of the VFX and its potential for creating both intellectual and emotional engagement. Brecht's lasting influence on contemporary theater, film, and performance studies is undeniable. His ideas have been adapted and reinterpreted by subsequent generations of artists and scholars. His emphasis on critical engagement, social justice, and the use of theater as a tool for political change continues to resonate with artists and activists around the world. One of the most significant aspects of Brecht's legacy is his influence on modern filmmaking. The alienation effect, originally developed for the stage, has found a new home in cinema. Filmmakers employ techniques such as breaking the fourth wall, using direct address to the audience, and employing self-reflexive narratives to create a sense of distance and encourage critical reflection. Jean-Luc Godard, a prominent figure in the French New Wave, was deeply influenced by Brecht's ideas. Godard's films often employ Brechtian techniques to challenge viewers' assumptions about narrative, character, and representation. His film Breathless, for instance, features characters who frequently break the fourth wall, addressing the audience directly and commenting on the film's own construction. Rainer Werner Fassbinder, a leading figure in New German cinema, also drew inspiration from Brecht's work. Fassbinder's films often explore themes of social alienation, political oppression, and the corrupting influence of power. He employed Brechtian techniques such as episodic storytelling, stylized acting, and the use of music to create a sense of distance and encourage critical analysis. Contemporary filmmakers continue to engage with Brecht's ideas in diverse and innovative ways. Some filmmakers use Brechtian techniques to explore complex social and political issues, while others use them to challenge conventional cinematic forms and conventions. The alienation effect remains a powerful tool for engaging audiences in critical reflection and promoting social change. Brecht's enduring relevance lies in his ability to challenge audiences to think critically about the world around them. In an increasingly mediated and politically polarized world, his ideas offer a valuable framework for understanding the complex relationship between art, politics, and society. His work reminds us that theater and film can be powerful tools for promoting social justice, fostering critical consciousness, and inspiring collective action. In conclusion, Bertolt Brecht's contributions to theater and critical thought extend far beyond his lifetime. His development of epic theater, his innovative use of the alienation effect, and his commitment to social justice have had a profound and lasting impact on the world of art and politics. From his early experiments with Expressionism to his later explorations of Marxist theory, Brecht consistently challenged conventional notions of dramatic form and audience engagement. His plays, poems, theoretical writings continue to inspire artists, scholars, and activists around the world. The Berliner Ensemble stands as a testament to his vision, a place where theater is used to question, provoke, and ultimately to transform the world. Brecht's legacy endures as a call to action, a reminder that art can be a powerful force for social change.
We really appreciate you tuning into this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.